When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D Melville.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Long Bearded Guy. I'm Gordon D Melville, and we're on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome today. Welcome. Red Friday, nice red vest. We want to remember our everyone deployed. So that's what that's about. Welcome. Thank you. I deeply appreciate people reaching out. I deeply appreciate my audience. I deeply appreciate the fact that you show up and you spend some time with me on Fridays at noon, between noon and 1 o'clock. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Today, we're continuing our series on emotional intelligence, and we can talk about emotional intelligence till the cows come home. I could do 52 episodes of this and still not scratch the surface of it. So we're taking a really high 30,000, eagle eye view of this topic. There's so much in this topic. There's so much that different opinions and different lenses we could use to look at it, different topics inside that topic. So today we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, self-control. Self-control. What does that look like? What does that sound like? Where do we use it? And what do I mean by self-control when we're talking about emotional intelligence? And where does that fit into the whole scope? I want to just real quick talk about Jackie Robinson. For those of you that know baseball or are familiar with baseball history, Jackie Robinson was the first African-American into the Hall of Fame. He was the first American to play in the major leagues, Major League Baseball. He was the first African-American to play, and he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And he was incredible. And the reason I bring him up is because while he was overcoming adversity, he was using emotional maturity and self-control at a really high level. Why? He was the first African-American in the league. So all the prejudice, from everybody, from coaches, other players, trainers, staff, radio people, broadcast, like everybody, other teams, he was just the nastiness that he went through. And he said, nope, I am going to go through it because I'm going to break that color barrier. And he did. He was single-handedly broke that color barrier in professional sports. But he committed. He had a commitment with himself that I'm going to have emotional integrity, and I'm going to have emotional intelligence, and I'm going to have full self-control. I am not going to react to the comments and to the activities and to the things that were done and said about him and to him. He literally responded, and he said, I'm going to respond to all of that on the field with my bat, my glove, and my activity on the field. And he did. He was Hall of Fame. He was unbelievable. One of the best baseball players ever. Hall of Fame baseball player, by using and in that space. They say he was emotionally mature and used self-control. They use those words that way when they describe him. So he way high level emotional intelligence and emotional maturity and self-control. And we want to get somebody we emulate and want to be like in terms of that. He didn't respond. He didn't react. He responded with his play on the field, but he didn't react to the moment. All this nasty venom being shot at him and said about him and treated. It was horrible. He went through. You read the stories, it's horrendous what he had to put up with. Never, ever reacted. There's not a story anywhere where he reacted in anger or frustration. Massive levels of self-control. So that's what we want to talk about today. I'm excited to have you here. Find us on, we're a new app in terms of Apple TV, Google TV, any smart TV. You can find us on Samsung, LG smart TVs, Amazon Fire, iHeartRadio, Spotify. I mean, anywhere you want to listen to this stuff, please jump in, comment, love, share, subscribe. It's a free subscription for Inspired Choices Network. Subscribe. And there's a lot of hosts. You can listen to me. That's great. I appreciate that. I want you to do that. But there's lots of hosts on this station, on this network, that are amazing, 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 have some incredible information. So please reach out to them. Please listen to their stuff, but subscribe. We're trying to get, as you all know, I'm trying to get to 10 million men globally, have a meaningful connection with them over the next 2 years, with a message of hope that says there are positive ways to deal with the emotions we all feel every day. But as guys, we were taught not to touch, or not to handle, not to deal with. Don't show them, right? Don't look weak, don't cry. And so we hold that inside, and it makes us sick. So the only way it gets that is if you can help me by subscribing and by sharing and by inviting people to listen. Share this stuff with other people. That's the only way I'm going to have engagement. I got lots of reach, but we need engagement, people to reach out. So please do that. All right, let's get into it quick. Definitions and realizations. So there's a couple things I wanted to point out real quick. There are so many definitions of self-control. There's so many different ideas about what that means, and especially when you put the emotional intelligence spin on it. So self-control, the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expressions of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. Chuck on there, we were talking about that with the producer before. Especially in difficult situations, because we get triggered. Anyway, also described as the ability to regulate and alter our responses, not a reaction, our responses, to avoid undesirable behaviors, increase desirable ones, and achieve long-term goals. Research, first day with the new tongue. Research shows possessing self-control can be important for the health and well-being of a person. If we reduce it to what, quite simply, controlling behaviors, avoiding temptations, achieve long-term goals, definite major purpose and vision, the ability to delay gratification, and resisting unwanted behaviors and urges. Better self-control. So how would we think about it? What does it matter? So we have self-control, we have no self-control. We all know people that have zero self-control. There's one in the news in the US right now. No self-control, none, less than none. And it causes challenges for them and the people around them. So why would we do it? What are the benefits of having really high levels of self-control? Self-control will make better amounts of it, higher levels of it will give us a happier, healthier, better grades, higher test scores if you're in school. And when it comes to academic success, more important than your IQ, more important than how smart you are, is how much self-control you have. Interesting how those equate. Interesting that in a emotional intelligence conversation, when we're talking about self-control, how they correlate. Some of that, by the way, some of our self-control can be determined by our genetics to some degree, but it's also a learned skill that can be strengthened with practice. It's like any other muscle in our body, any other muscle that we're using in terms of any of our emotions that we're trying to make stronger and to use. Emotional intelligence is a good one. How do I got to use it more and more and more and more, right? As I use it more, it becomes stronger, and then I get better, and then it goes up, and then I get stronger, and then anyway, you understand what I'm saying. It's just an ongoing thing. We're going to talk about that in another segment. The American Psychological Association says 27% of the population identified lack of willpower, also called self-control, as the primary reason for not achieving their goals. 27% identified lack of willpower as primary reason for not achieving their goals. There's two interesting statistics that go with that. 27% identified lack of willpower as the primary reason for not achieving their goals. 71% of those people believe self-control can be learned and strengthened. Woohoo, that's awesome. Almost 3/4 of the people said, hey, they believe it can be learned and strengthened. That's awesome. What's the other statistic? Oh yeah, less than 3% of the population does any kind of personal development. Crap. It means they know it's going to make them better and they don't do it. So we have the knowledge, but we don't execute. We're back to that piece about having the information, but not using it. There's the only difference between somebody that's illiterate and somebody that can't read or doesn't read, but can. Well, there is no difference. Those are exactly the same. Somebody that can read and doesn't is in the same boat as somebody that's illiterate. Somebody that 71% believes they could strengthen and with practice their self-control, and they don't. Oops. But then people want to complain because their life isn't what they want, or complain because they're not where they want to be. It's a choice we make. This is going to be a hard conversation. It really is. Then this episode and the next one are going to be hard because this is rubber meets the road stuff. This is, and if you don't have a journal, by the way, if you're not writing this stuff down, please write it down. Please get something to write with. Write it down. You're not going to remember. You're going to want to, but you're not going to remember. Please write it down. The only way we can, and I was talking to someone the other day that we were talking about journaling, and they asked, do you go back and read it? Yes, I have to go back and read it. I have to go back and look through those lessons and review and review and review. Why? Because that's how it goes in. It doesn't go in if I don't review it. Certain things will stick, right? Certain things we hear, we go, oh yeah, that's good. And we'll hold on to that. But a lot of stuff just goes by because we didn't write it down. And when we write it down, then we don't review it. It doesn't work. We have to be able to review it. But so please write this stuff down. If you got a journal, write this stuff down. And if you don't, grab a pad or something, write it on the wall. I don't care. Find a way to write it down. You're going to want to remember. We want to be able to define and hold our self-control at a really high level. But that can be practiced. That can be learned. Some of it's genetic, but a lot of it can be learned. There's some reasons that in the next segment, we gotta pay some bills here, but we're gonna do a quick shout out. But in the next segment, we're gonna talk about types of self-control. When we talk about it, what are we talking about? Self-control, how? In terms of emotional intelligence. In terms of emotional intelligence, how do we have self-control? So don't go anywhere. We're going to think about that. We're going to talk about that and discuss that a little bit. So I want to do a shout out to my good brother, Jose Escobar, is the founder and CEO of Entrepreneurs Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening mastery. Wow. Again, first day with the new tongue. Check out the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that's changing people's lives without hyperbole. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session today with Jose Escobar, and you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. Incredible human being, incredible program. And if you're not doing something as a habit over and over and over and over every day, you're missing out on some of your effectiveness. We were going to talk about a little bit about that today in terms of self-control. Interestingly enough, that bookends, that's part of that deal. How do I do the same thing over and over and over and over and over? It's a habit. It becomes a habit, but I have to be able to bookend something first thing in the morning to set my day, and then at the end of the day to set the next day and to cap the end of the day. And if you're, like I said, if you're not doing that, you're not being as effective and efficient as you could be. You're not getting as much done as you could. So I challenge you, reach out to Jose at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com and explore that possibility, explore what that could do for your life. All right, as we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe to ground yourself. All right, we'll be right back. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. All right, so we're talking emotional intelligence, self-control. And again, hard conversation to have. It really is, because it's something we all want to be that person, but sometimes we just struggle to get there. And that's an ongoing process. We never ever get there. But the point is, do we put an effort in to try? Do we put an effort in to at least have it top of mind? Hey, we're consciously incompetent from that point of view, right? We know we don't know. We know we struggle with it. So it's something that we continue to practice. By the way, thank you to all the people that I know are listening, that are on the road, that can't get in for chat, can't get into the studio audience, but that I know are listening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. And I appreciate you being here. I really, really do. It's so good for my heart and my soul. I appreciate you more than you know. All right, so self-control is one of the aspects of executive function, something referred to as the psychological community talks about executive function. And executive function is a set of abilities that help people to plan, monitor, and achieve their goals. Executive function. So self-control is one of the aspects of executive function. It's part of the set of abilities that help people to plan, monitor, and achieve their goals. The other thing I want to point out before I give you 3 types of self-control is something called ego depletion. Is again a scientific term that they use to describe self-control. And what does that mean? Self-control, and you probably want to write this down, self-control is a limited resource. Gordon, pardon? It's what? It's a limited resource. What does that mean? Oh, it could go away. I only have so much of it. We only have so much of it. Focusing on if we focus all of our self-control on one goal, that could use it all up, and then it's harder to summon it for other tasks. Ego depletion, self-control that goes away. So for instance, if I use all my self-control to do my budget, to corral my spending, to try and stay within. I want that stuff, but no, I'm not going to do it. No, I do a thing. I used to do a thing. I still do a thing sometimes. I won't carry bills larger than 50 because most places don't want to take hundreds anymore. But you carry a 50. I carry 50 sometimes because I look at it and go, it's $2, it's $5. Do I really need it? What I'm trying to do is self-control, self-regulate myself to make sure hey, because as soon as I break the 50, I know it's going away. As soon as I break the 50, it's just, and I wouldn't be able to tell you where it went. So keeping it in that bigger bill holds on to me and allows me, and it's one of the techniques